There. You might not know me, but my name is Caleb, also known as Mr. Blind Bandit, and you have just found yourself at a new journey. The new journey is called Beyond Sight. Mr. Blind Bandit presents Beyond Sight. So, in today's episode, we're going to start by giving an introduction of who I am and what I represent going forward. I, Mr. Blind Bandit, aka Caleb Savon Heck, am an American citizen born April 4th, 2000. I was born in Roanoke, Virginia, United States of America, of course. You know, the great old USA. And I've been blind since birth with a visual condition titled Leber's Congenital Amaurosis, often abbreviated as LCA. I have two siblings, a younger brother named Christopher and an older sister named Kelsey. And I have a mom, of course, named Celine, and she's also my best friend. And I moved to the Philippines. This is the catalyst of my story. In August of 2024, I made the hardest but best decision of my life to leave the United States permanently and go to the Philippines. Just pack everything up and just get on an airplane and go to the Philippines. So let me explain how it started and let me explain where we are now. So here's where we are now. I'm currently here in the Philippines. You already know that. Or you didn't know that. So let me start from the beginning. On August 21st, 2024, I made the decision to get on an airplane and fly 27 hours to the Philippines. I started in Jacksonville, Florida at JAX, Jacksonville International Airport. And I took an airplane that went from Jacksonville International Airport to Jacksonville International Airport to hold on. Let me see if I'm
Show camera.
I think we got
1. Enter passcode. Duration. Stop. Button.
Okay.
Speech.
There we go. I traveled from Jacksonville International Airport to Atlanta Airport for a 3-hour layover. And then after Atlanta Airport, I flew to Seoul, South Korea, which was 16 hours, a 16-hour flight. Just imagine that blind. And how did I navigate the airports? Well, I had support from the airline staff and different things like that. I took Asiana Airlines. I would highly recommend that airline. And once I arrived in Seoul, South Korea, I wanted a stamp on my passport. I can't see it, of course, but I just wanted it for the memory to show others. So I went through that ordeal of asking them to do that, and then that was done. Then after that, I went and ate at the restaurant called Lateria and got on the next airplane going to Manila, Philippines. I arrived at 12:25 that night, and I called my then girlfriend on the phone and told her that I had arrived and was going through immigration. So I went into immigration and they said to me, "Why are you here? And how long will you be here?" I said, "Well, I'll be here 2 weeks." And then they said, "What proof do you have that you know this person?" So they said, could they browse my phone, which was a very, very, very type of an invasion of my privacy, but I didn't know it at the time. I thought it was just procedural, something that they did. So they went through my phone and checked everything out, checked out the messages, checked out everything else, and then proceeded to inform me that I couldn't go through. And we had a back and forth, and eventually they did let me go through. They said, it's my life, my choice, my decisions. So I proceeded through and withdrew $240 out of the ATM and converted it into Philippine pesos, about 14,000 Philippine pesos, or 12,000, something like that. Then I waited around like a bum until 5 a.m. And then 5 a.m. came, and I took the next airplane 1 hour and 40 minutes away to Davao City. And then we arrive in Davao City an hour and 40 minutes later, and a little bit of rest later. And I stepped off the airplane, went through the airport. I told them I wanted to take a taxi to the hotel. You know, a hotel that doesn't have the best reputation. Hotel Sogo Davao. And I went there and called my then girlfriend at the time, Emma, and said, "Hey, I'm here. Are you going to come?" Yeah, she had just woken up at that time, by the way. And she said, "Yeah, I'm on my way." So she proceeded to travel 2 hours, 3 hours away, 2.5, 3 hours away to Davao City to come see me. And she arrived at the hotel, and I heard a knock on the door. And I opened the door, and, I didn't recognize the voice. I thought it was one of the maids of the hotel. So, I informed her of this. And she started laughing. I started laughing because I recognized her after that. And I pulled her into the room, and, um, I started kissing her and stuff. And, stuff like that. On and on and on. She's a very shy girl. And then we proceeded to get to know each other in many different ways. And some of them unsuccessful, some of them successful. And then fast forward to the next day, we go to the house, I meet her family, and I proceed to stay. Then fast forward 2 weeks to September 4th of 2024. I come to a heart-wrenching decision. Well, I'm going to stay here. I'm not going back home. And we inform everybody. There's tears shed from different people. And I decide, well, I'm going to stay here in the Philippines permanently. So then we're like, oh, how do I extend my visa? And I talk to some people, form some connections, and I figure out, well, if I get married, then I would be able to remain here with her permanently. And that's exactly what I do. I go to the Cebu consulate in Cebu City and process my LCCM, legal capacity to contract marriage.
Stop. Duration, 8 minutes. Speed.
And once I process my legal capacity to contract marriage, I go back to Capalong, Philippines. And once I arrive there, we schedule the marriage with Mayor Teresa Temple, a good friend to me, and the former mayor of Capalong, Philippines. And we have the wedding scheduled for October 7th of 2024 at 9 a.m. And the day arrives. It's just, I really don't take it as like me and my wife are just nonchalant about it. We arrive, and like it's a normal day, nothing. I'm wearing some mushroom pants and a mushroom shirt. That's it. And we get married. We walk down the aisle. Vows are exchanged. My I do's, her I do's, and we kiss each other, and we get married. Then, the next part. Immigration hell. And when I say immigration hell, it really was. But I trundled through it, and I'll tell you how. So here in the Philippines, you have to process quite a few things to obtain permanent residence. And before we continue, I'll break down the price. The first year it's 11,000 something, and the second year it's 11,000 something. And I talked to my advisor at the local municipality office, and I encourage him to expedite the delivery of my Philippine Statistics Authority PSA marriage certificate contract. And I get that finally sent to me, and that's another hell on its own, but I get that finally sent to me, and it arrives, and I take that to the Bureau of Immigration in Davao City. And once I arrive in Davao, I bring it in there, and I'm like, hey, I want to apply for permanent residence. And we have to do all the different things, get the 5 folders, go to the lawyer, do all this, and eventually we do it. We have our interview, everything goes good. And after that happens, 3 months later, I get a notification that I've been approved for probationary residence. Then we skip forward a year and doing it again. The 5 folders. No more interview. We actually had another interview. The interview and a couple more things. And after that, permanent residency gets approved. And then once permanent residency is approved, I am allowed to stay in the Philippines permanently now. I just have to renew my thing every year, annual report. It's like 300 peso. And then every 5 years, I have to renew my ACR card, Alien Certificate of Registration Identity Card. And I have a loving wife, and I have a child on the way named Madeline. And am I enjoying it here? Yes. Was there a lot of adapting? Definitely. But I have everything I need here now. I have running water, electric, Wi-Fi, the basic necessities of life for a expat living in the Philippines, especially one that's blind, disabled. And there you go. That's the first part of my story. I have more coming later on, and a better version of the story will be narrated by my friend Euromaker, a fellow YouTuber and podcaster, shortly. So just stay tuned, and if y'all would like to keep track of my journey, follow me on all social medias. YouTube, Mr. Blind Bandit. My story channel, YouTube, Mr. Blind Bandit Storytime. Just follow me there and just stay part of my journey. Stay tuned, and let's just keep everything going. But it was your host. Pleasure to speak to y'all, Mr. Blind Bandit, aka Caleb Savon Heck, signing out.